Now we're talking.
Otlo, delighted to have you on the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me.
For my first question, wanted to ask, do you believe in karma?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. It's on my mind pretty often, you know. I would say uh I've always believed in it. What about you?
Yeah, I do. I've I've actually witnessed like instant karma too, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm 100% I do think about that a lot actually. And, you know, if something happens and uh anytime I see an example of karma, I'm always like very in tune and I'm like, yeah, that looked like karma right there, you know.
Are you allergic to anything?
Not that I know of, no. I think maybe sometimes like grass makes me itchy, but other than that, no.
What's the last song that hit you in the feels?
Um, well, earlier today I was listening to this song called Don't Come Home Today by Good Morning. It's a band called Good Morning, and that one definitely pulls at the heartstrings. You heard of that one?
Yeah, I was actually listening to that EP the other day. I was
Oh,
driving
really?
it. It's
Yeah.
a yeah, it's a throwback for sure.
It's great music for like quiet, you know, introvert people. I just love like that lo-fi indie rock stuff. It's a good stuff to just blast in your room and chill out.
Do you ever read into your horoscope?
I don't not to like the level that I know some people do, but I will, sometimes I do know that I'm an Aquarius and I don't really know about like the sun and moon stuff. About as far as I go is just like the general sign and what month it correlates to, you know.
How many glasses of water would you say you drink a day?
Not enough. I mean, per day, man, probably one. I don't drink enough water. I'm chronically dehydrated. I need to drink more water.
This is like a friendly reminder.
Yeah, drink your water. One of my favorite musicians, Kuko. That's like he says that. He says drink your water.
Oh, I saw him live a couple years ago. That dude kills it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about going to see him. He's coming to Nashville in October, and some of my friends are going. I might go, but live shows kind of stress me out, especially big ones. But I think it'll be
Hmm.
fun.
What's cool that you bring that up. I was also curious, like what's one of your favorite shows that you've attended?
Hmm. Well, I went to Bonnaroo for the first time. Well, one of the years I went to Bonnaroo, um I saw Men I Trust, and I really liked that show a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Whose fashion style do you admire?
Hmm. I don't know. Let's think here. I think that I don't know. I don't think a lot about fashion, but I do. I guess I admire my guitarist's fashion. Chaz, my friend Chaz, he has really good fashion.
Yeah, with a name like Chaz, you gotta be killing it, you
Right?
know.
Yeah, you gotta be styling if your name is Chaz. It's just such a, chill name.
What would you say is your most played song right now, like by another artist?
I wonder if I can officially check that. I want to say it's probably okay. It's right now. It's probably "Black Memories" by the Growlers.
Hmm.
It's probably my number one played song.
It's cool that they're gonna do like a comeback. They're already putting out new stuff after a good while.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that, and I'm wondering if like they're still getting back to like if they're getting back together as a band, or if it's just the singer Brooks that's
Mhm.
moving things forward. But I have no idea. I don't know. I know that at one point there was some sort of controversy that happened, but I don't even know what happened. I just listen
Right.
to the music.
Yeah, like a brief cancellation attempt.
Yeah.
Um, we mentioned like the live show uh attending problem. I've gone through that too where I did go to a bunch of shows back in the day, but um I get like kind of in my head about it sometimes, and I've missed out on a lot of great shows that come through my area, and that's one of them. I missed out on going to the Growler show when they came down a good while
Yeah.
ago, but
Man.
who knows?
Yeah, I guess you can never really know when that kind of stings when you don't get to, especially a band that hasn't performed in a while.
Right. When it when it comes to choosing a romantic partner, is there any trait, characteristic, or habit which you consider to be a deal breaker?
A deal breaker, I would say if I know that everybody, has different opinions on this, and if I'm with somebody, I need somebody who doesn't go out a lot. I don't go out a lot, and I also like being with someone who prefers to, stay in or just not, who isn't, you know, going out all the time, I guess.
In high school, did you ever sneak out of home?
Yeah, I think I did like a couple times for sure, but my parents were really lenient. Like it was just kind of like if I went out at 1 a.m., like I better be home for school, the next day. And if I'm not, that's when I get in trouble. But, as long as I'm doing the right things, then that's all that matters.
Did you ever make a fort as a kid?
Um, yeah, I think I remember I did. We used to make like crazy forts in the living room, and something that me and my brother used to do because we grew up playing uh, Mario 64, and we would have like pillows, like any pillows in the house. Like we would pretend that like they're the paintings in the castle, and like we would like pretend to like jump into them, and like we're in a different world. It was fun.
What's the weirdest thing you witnessed while living in Tennessee?
The weirdest thing that I've witnessed. I guess, I don't know. I've witnessed a lot of weird things. I think the weirdest thing that I've ever witnessed is there was this like thing that I got that my friend invited me to, and it was a kind of like a party, but it was like a warehouse party. And we went. and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, and ended up getting shot up. So that was pretty weird.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but
Well, there
yeah,
was no casualties though, right? I'm
no,
assuming.
no, it ended up being fine, but definitely a night I won't forget. That was scary for me.
I bet, man. Damn. Do you believe in love at first sight?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a very romantic person, and I believe in those sorts of things. And I don't know, I think sometimes people overcomplicate love in a way. Like I'm the kind of person that, I think people put like timelines on things. Like they're like, "Oh, you have to know this person for 5 months before you can say that you love them." But like I don't really believe in all that. Like I think people overthink things a lot.
That's a good take on that. Where is your dream vacation spot?
Well, I've never been to Tokyo, Japan. If I could, if I had infinite amounts of money and I wasn't, you know, I didn't have to worry about anything, I would probably take a trip to Japan.
Has a stranger's passing ever affected you?
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you consider like an artist being a stranger, then yeah, definitely. I would say like I was a really big fan of Lil Peep and that whole like I think that whole era of SoundCloud rap, like all of those artists, you know, that just so many casualties happening in such a short span of time, like that really did mess with me because like that was some of my favorite music.
Yeah, it's crazy. How old was he? Like 21 or something?
Yeah, he was 21.
It's the baby.
Yeah.
Um, are you a collector of anything?
I don't really collect things. I think that I am kind of a hoarder. Like I am always afraid of getting rid of stuff, you know.
I'm the same way, man. Last item you online shop for.
The last item that I ordered was a gorilla mask for a music video.
What's an important album from your childhood?
I don't know, I guess the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack. That's an important album for me.
Do you still play Mario games like currently?
Well, I don't play them now, but I wish I could. I feel like I haven't played as many games recently because I, life is just gets more and more busy like the older you get. Like, I mean, I'm 22, but I feel like I don't, I wish I had more time to play games, but I want to get back into it as soon as I can.
When's the last time you felt nostalgic?
Hmm. I think yesterday I was feeling pretty nostalgic because I went out with my friend Chaz and some other friends, and it like kind of made me think about how like I've known these people for years, and like thinking about like all the different memories I had with them. Like that was definitely a nostalgic time for me. And yeah, I think I get pretty nostalgic often just about my childhood, because now it seems like I get really nostalgic about everybody loves the year 2016 and you know, I miss it seems like things used to be simpler and yeah, that's kind of what drives my longing for the past is just like it seems like everything's more complex now.
Would you say 2016 is like an important year for you too?
Well, I guess in 2016 I was still in middle school and yeah, I think just like all the music that was coming out around that time, like, Kuko's first album and Mac DeMarco, all of that. There was just a lot of really good music coming around in like the late 2010s, and not that there's not good music now, but I feel like music definitely hit its peak at around that time. At least my favorite music did. I know other people like are different, but for me, definitely.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, and mentioning Kuko, and that era, your music does kind of remind me a bit of like Bane's World and Kuko type of vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, when I made my first album, I was that's those guys were really like all I was listening to. I was really big on Bane's World, uh, and yeah, I don't know. I think some of my newer stuff is a little more pop oriented, but I'd like to kind of get back into the slower stuff for sure.
I wanted to talk about Woozy, and that was your first release. Believe you released it like 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and like reflecting back on that, uh, how does it hold up for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm proud of it. I there's a lot of people that really prefer that era, and I don't know. I think in terms of the songwriting and like the energy and the atmosphere of the album, I think it's aged really well for me. I think I've gotten much better at mixing since I've done that album, and I think if I could go back, I would I would I would say the mixing is probably like the worst aspect of that album, but I feel like if I try to change it, like it's just not gonna have the same spark,
Appeal.
that it did. Yeah.
I'm curious too, like, did you make the artwork yourself?
So the artwork is done by a guy that I found on Reddit, and he has an Instagram page. It's Digitopia, Digitopia 2K, and he's really good, man. Like he is. I mean, in my mind, like the album covers are really what I don't know. Sometimes, like if an album's really good, but it has a bad cover, or like the cover doesn't really feel like it matches the music, like it can take away. But like so far, like the two covers that he's done for me are just so perfect for the music. Like, and he kind of was so instrumental in helping me kind of build my brand because I remembered like when I finished like that first album, Woozy, I was like, man, like I'm happy with this, but what I don't even know where to start with a cover. And then I took a chance on uh him and then he did amazing. And so like now I think I'm just gonna work with him for everything.
Yeah, I totally agree with that about the artwork. it has to embody the album in a way, or at least it's better that way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that artwork, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, yeah, this does kind of match the mood of the album. It For those that haven't seen it yet, it's like 3D figures kind of like running to this like hourglass looking
Mhm.
UFO thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And well, my attempt at, I don't know, trying to put some meaning to it is that like we like to run back to our memories.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I think the whole idea of that album cover was just like the whole album is about nostalgia and growing up and trying to make sense of this like new world where um you know I mean as I know a lot of people don't like 21 Pilots, but I really feel like they're like one of the songs, like their big song, that their breakout song, what was it, Stressed Out. I mean, that's such a good message for me. Like I love the whole reason like I started making music was because I it was the only thing that really made me like feel anything, I guess. Like because uh I was like, man, if if life, not that life is all about work, but most of the time we all spend our time working. And might as well try to make it a career if I can. And I guess it's just a way of um like with Woozy, the whole album is just me coming to terms with like adult life and growing up and being in college and looking around and seeing everybody's talking about internships and what they're going to do with their life and how much they're going to get paid and how much value they bring to the table, and kind of just missing when the only thing anybody ever like there what I miss. I'm ranting right now, but I miss when you didn't have to have a reason to hang out with anyone. Like there was no. Now it feels like if you're hanging out with somebody, it's like, oh, you want to work and hang out. But before it used to be like, bro, let's just hang out, just come over to my house, let's play basketball. So
Simpler times, man.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're totally right. Like people overcomplicate this life stuff, and music is uh very essential to help. I don't want to say the word escape, but just to kind of get away from all that.
Yeah, and I think that's why I started doing it in the first place, is kind of what you said, uh, trying to escape from that.
And you brought up Little Peep a little while ago, and I actually did see like an interview of yours where you mentioned that was kind of your first take or like attempt at making music yourself.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was curious. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I actually wrote on here like Little Peep influence, but who
yeah,
else influenced you during that phase of yours?
yeah. During like the beginning of when I like first got Ableton and I first was like um, learning how to do things, I guess. I started with uh, I started with like emo stuff, and I think it was something I quickly realized just like wasn't me. It wasn't it wasn't who I am. And even though I liked that kind of music, I couldn't, it didn't feel like me. And, for music to succeed, it needs to feel authentic, and it didn't feel authentic. But yeah, and so I started moving on to like the bedroom pop stuff, but there's still a lot of I love there's a lot of overlap between those genres. I mean, like Lil Peep definitely, I mean, he was a big fan of Ariel Pink, and
Oh no,
so I can tell, I don't know, I think it's really cool. There's like a cool overlap between those two. So I think it's um I'm not surprised that those are some of my two of my favorite genres of music.
how do you see the future of the music industry, especially with change in technology and how people consume music?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like you can really do most of everything yourself now. Like we have a lot of tools, but in a way it kind of makes things worse because there's like an oversaturation problem. And I guess it just makes it harder for, people who might have had better luck 10 years ago. Uh, they can't break through the noise. There's just too much noise on the internet. And not to mention, like, one of the things I've noticed growing up is like, as you get, everybody hits a certain age where they start trying to figure out what their thing is and like what makes them cool and why people should care about what they do. Everybody's figuring out their value to society or something. And I guess like that's just kind of like a side effect of the tools we have because everybody wants to be the new biggest YouTuber or the biggest uh, artist. And, before, like, that wasn't even an option for, people, they just accepted that that isn't realistic and that's not what they're going to do with their life. But now it feels like there's really no excuse to not try it.
I'm like, damn, I'm letting him cook on all these answers.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope I'm not like talking too much, but
No, no. You're I'm agreeing with all these things you're saying. Which musical era do you feel most connected to?
probably like the 2017 to 2019 era of music. I would say maybe like more 2016, 2019. But then like that's more recent, but like in the past I would say definitely 80s music. Like I love 80s. I love like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. There's different connections I have with each one. I mean, 60s I love like the heart on the sleeve songwriting, and like I love how the lyrics were just, I feel like they used to write more about love and like softness and stuff. And now I think it's a little more like I just miss the crooner. I miss the crooner era, like Frank Sinatra and like Roy Orbison and those people. I miss that a lot. Well, I was never alive during that time, but you know.
Are there any rituals or practices you follow before going on stage?
Well, the only thing that I do is just make sure I've got everything I need because there's so many different things. Even getting on stage, it's like if you leave your capo, in the green room, then you got to take your guitar off and unplug stuff and go all the way back there. It's like even one little thing will throw you off. And I remember so many times on tour just getting really frustrated because there was uh 90 different things that I had to, make sure I have everything in my pockets, uh make sure I'm not missing anything.
What's an essential snack while, on tour or on a road trip?
Hmm. I don't know. I like we ate a lot of McDonald's on tour. I think McDonald's is just like it's a great it's a great thing because it's just really good. It's my favorite snack.
I ate that this morning actually.
Really? Would
The
you
what
I
is
like the bit I like the McGriddles, the sausage
that's,
McGriddle.
that's what I ate.
Yeah, bro. It's so good.
I just got back into them. Like I told my girlfriend, like, I don't remember the last time I ate a McGriddle. I forgot how good they were.
For real. No, and they give you like they get last time I got one, they gave me like some grape jelly and it was amazing. I love those things.
Have you ever experienced a creative crisis, and how did you find your way back to inspiration?
Yeah, I think after I released my first album, I had this moment where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything better, because the last thing you do is always what you think is the best. Uh, but then, I started with Sweet Nothings. That was the first song I did after Woozy. And I was like, okay, this is this is like kind of more the direction I want to go. And sometimes it's just luck, because when you find out that, certain plugins or certain things you do with your vocals like sound good, and then it just takes like one little breakthrough to be like, okay, now I'm gonna do 10 more songs, of this. But like you need to have that breakthrough. And sometimes it's just a waiting game. Like trying to intentionally break out of that crisis is more often than not, like won't work.
I feel that. And I wanted to talk about Love Drum next. The it's funny because that's actually my introduction to your music because I like to jump into music kind of like movies in the way of like I don't know what to expect or like go into it with no familiarity, like having no context whatsoever. So I looked
Yeah.
at the artwork and well, I'm not really using Spotify as much anymore, but ever since they added that new feature where like you can actually select which songs to play even if you don't have premium, I was like, okay. And so it recommended it to me, and my algorithm on Spotify, it's a mix of vaporwave and like indie stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe this is a vaporwave album because of the artwork. And
Yeah.
so I clicked on it. And I was like, okay. I was surprised. I was curious. Are you familiar with vaporwave?
Yeah, that was like that's kind of that culture is really like the biggest influence for the artwork, I would say. Because I know a lot of times, even just seeing like a tile floor, you're like, oh, vaporwave. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to mix, because Kuko, like one of the coolest things about him was that he was like really, especially with his second album, was like really dipping into that heavily. Like on Songs for You. Like it was essentially like vaporwave music. but like slower. And yeah, I think I was listening to like Windows 96 as well when I and then I started getting really into like the 90s like CGI stuff. And so like in trying to like build a brand, I was thinking, maybe I can just do make that aesthetic sort of part of the music and like hope that it matches, hope that it fits. Um, and for some reason it seems like it does. Like I guess like certain songs, songs like Daisy, don't yeah, I don't know. There's some songs that it works better with and other ones where it doesn't, but I think like taken as a whole, like it really all kind of comes together to fit. I knew I wanted the second album cover to be like feel even more grand than the first one, to feel like you're like in a mall or something, like a abandoned mall. So that was like where I was going with that.
I dig that. Yeah, and I mean, I was already like, okay, this is already interesting to me, and for it to kind of throw that curveball of like, oh, this is actually bedroom pop kind of music, and you're right, it does flow well with your brand, and like the aesthetic matches the the music. So yeah, man, keep it up because I'm totally for that that whole style. The whole style is awesome. And then this next question, it's funny because you recently did a poll for your fans on Insta, and it
Hmm.
was Love Drown versus Woozy. And I didn't answer the question because I was like, this is hard for me. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put you in the hot seat, and I know this is kind of like asking a parent like who their favorite kid is, but
Yeah.
who do you lean more on right now?
Well, I would have to say I would say Love Drown because I think well most people did say that one, but there's like over time Woozy has been winning me over more because like there was a time where I was like, man, I don't even think that that's even remotely a good album. Like I hated it, and I thought about taking it down, but like it seems like from my story that like a good like one third of people feel like that's the better album. So it makes me feel good. I mean, I feel good, like I'm glad uh that it's like held up for sure. What about you?
Oh man, you know, right now I think yeah, I'm going more with Love Drawn,
Yeah.
but Woozy, I always I always find it interesting when you listen to an artist's first release, and I know you just have the two so far, but like the comparison or like the growth, like seeing the difference uh in sound. And so yeah, this newer one, Love Drown, and you know what? Maybe because it was my first introduction to you too, it kind of plays a role in that
Yeah.
that it the music just kind of it really does fit in with your brand now that I'm thinking about it. It really did just like make me nostalgic.
Mhm. I'm glad.
But
I'm glad.
so yeah, Love Drown does that for me, I think more.
Heck yeah. Do you have a favorite track from like what's your favorite?
So it's cool that you I'm gonna use that to segue.
Yeah.
I like to finish these interviews sometimes with a ranking list. So I
Hmm.
have like a top five of your favorite song my favorite songs of yours. And as I go through them, if you could share like a little memory or a fun fact, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Number five, I went with Daisy.
Okay. So with that one, that was the second song I did for the album, and I was listening to a lot of the growlers when I made that one, and well, a lot of hers too, big influence from them. And I was really just getting into like the 80s drums, like the fun, the snare is really loud on that song. And I remember I made that one in my closet, and that one took probably the longest to make out of any of them.
Number four is Stay, Why Won't You?
I remember that one I made right around the time when I realized that I wanted to make an album, and that was like the first, because before that one came But a Dream and Fluorescent, or no. Before that one came But a Dream, and then I was like, okay, now, I kind of want to start thinking about an album. And yeah, when I made that one, I sort of realized where I wanted to go with things, and it was a lot of fun.
Number three, It's You.
Mm. That one definitely came out at like one of the lower like one of the lower points in my life. I remember I was really struggling with loneliness, and it's funny because the song is about being with someone, it's a romantic song that kind of makes you think about that there is somebody that that is on the other side, but it's really more so a song that is talking about the way I wish I felt, the way that I wish I had, this person. Like the verse is like, "You took my hand and led the way into the place that I can stay." Uh, so it's kind of like the idea of somebody coming into your life and like picking you up and saving you is like an idea that I like really like.
Number two is Fluorescent, and this one I'm real fond of because I mean a lot of your songs are introspective, but I feel like this one is a real standout.
Yeah, I think like a fun memory with that one is it was like the first time that that was like the first time I really wanted to make something that sounded like an N64 game. Like the intro arpeggio, kind of reminds me of like when you first unlock an item in Legend of Zelda, or like you open a chest and it's like that sound. Um, yeah, I that one's actually probably my favorite from that album, yeah. Fluorescent.
And my number one, you did share a little memory of it earlier on. So if you could share another one would be good. Sweet Nothings.
Ooh, okay. That one's your favorite?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think that one was really important for me because I remember at the time of making that, I was really in that creative drought that you were talking about earlier, like where I was like, I don't know where to go with my music. I don't know what's next. Do I make, more of Woozy, or do I try to branch out a bit, and I was like, I need to have a little more fun with my music, like be, let's try making something upbeat and fun. And I was really listening to uh a lot. I was in a good place in my life when I made that song, and I think it was kind of a moment where I felt like this is the time to really start trying to get my music out to people. And that was the first one that really did well. Like that was people's introduction to me. It's definitely the most popular, and I'm glad that it's aged well because there's a part of me that doesn't really, I actually I hated it, but now I like it, So I'm glad that you like it. That's really I don't care how I feel about things as long as other people get enjoyment because like that's the whole point of music is just to make you feel something and allow you to forget about um just allow you to transport you into another world, So I'm glad.
I'm curious now though, like what made you dislike it for a little bit?
I think why I disliked it was uh you'll notice like on Love Drown, like there's a lot of different vocal styles on that album. Some songs are I'm using a much lower voice. That one's definitely I have like a higher pitched voice in that one, and I was really like getting into my falsetto. And I think I started to dislike it because I was like I felt like my vocals were too like I processed I was trying too hard to be like Tame Impala or something. Um, but it makes me happy that it comes across in a good way. And yeah, I don't know. That one's definitely really important for me because uh yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy that it resonated with people.
For sure. Hey, well, Preston, man, thank you so much for your stories.
Dude, well, I appreciate your time and thank you for listening. And if you ever need anything, reach out. I'm glad that you found me, and I hope that this was a good experience for you. Thank you for what you're doing too, because like I know uh I don't like listening to people talk, so I couldn't do what you're doing.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll keep in touch, man. Take
All
care.
right, bro. Take care.